Lauren Boebert is host to Theatre of the Absurd. Don Quixote was known as a good, though insane, man who liked to take up the most bizarre moral crusades. Often, he was ineffective at achieving his goals, and when he was impactful, it was entirely by accident. This was the genius of the comedic element of the Don Quixote novels. Similarly, Rep. Lauren Boebert, RCO, has taken on some of the most conservative causes and championed them in, frankly, bizarre, even insane ways. Boebert cannot seem to help herself, and while some of her antics may help in getting on primetime conservative television and radio shows, in terms of attracting voters outside of her district, that remains to be seen. Everything from protesting excessive environmentalism and the left's unnatural obsession with all forms of abortion by calling for grey wolves to be removed from the endangered species list and for fetuses to be added to that list has become a hallmark of Lauren Boebert's continuing sideshow in Congress. At one point during a call aiming to weaken the Endangered Species Act, Boebert began throwing around pictures of dead babies. Boebert has called for the eradication of the Department of Education as well. In January, she led a vicious and entirely counterproductive movement to prevent Rep. Kevin McCarthy, RSA, who had raised $500 million for the Republican Party the previous election cycle, meaning he was always destined for greater power in the party, from being made the next Speaker of the House. Boebert and a handful of other Republican representatives ground Congress to a halt while they fundraised off their shutdown in a vain attempt to prevent McCarthy from becoming Speaker. When Boebert was pressed as to why she was opposing McCarthy, she often explained that it was because he was too moderate. Say what you will about Kevin McCarthy, but the guy was consistently conservative the entire time I worked contemporaneously with he and his staff on the Hill. After getting into an on-air spat with Fox News host Sean Hannity, Boebert could not definitively answer why she continued opposing McCarthy's rise to the speakership even after he had conceded to all her demands. If she really were interested in holding McCarthy accountable rather than just making the entire event about her, Boebert would have acquiesced and voted for McCarthy the moment he made historic concessions to a band of self-indulgent holdouts. Moving on from this sideshow, Boebert quickly became a leading proponent of pushing the United States off the fiscal cliff by refusing to vote to raise the debt ceiling this summer. Already, the two political parties are circling each other over this issue, like two bulls about to engage in combat. The only problem for ordinary Americans, whose finances could be ruined by the failure to raise the debt ceiling, is that there's no matador to contain the situation. There are no adults in the room, least of all Rep. Boebert. Since taking office, Lauren Boebert has shown a stunning inability to temper her political beliefs or rhetoric with what Benjamin Franklin rightly described as the art of possible. Yet, she continues to be promoted in the Republican Party, so much so that she has proven able to complicate what should have been an easy selection of Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker, and is now able to help bring about the true collapse of the American economy. The contours of Lauren Boebert's destructive streak can be seen in her amateur handling of the McCarthy nomination in January. She got what she wanted, and yet she still refused to back down. It was the hallmark of a political arsonist. Her goal was not to bring about effective change, either for her party or the country. It was to burn everything down. She almost succeeded, had it not been for the prodding of people like Hannity in public. What's more, she raised a boatload of cash for her war chest going into the next election off her principled stance against McCarthy's rise to the speakership.